Hi everyone, and welcome to our very last lecture of the semester. This one is Module 15 over special occasion speaking. The first thing you should know about special occasion speeches is that there are various purposes for special occasion speaking. The first type are speeches to commemorate either an event or a person. These will offer remembrance and tribute. They will pay tribute to either an event or a person, and they can happen in various settings from social celebrations to more corporate and organizational gatherings. The next type is a speech to inspire. These motivate by examples of achievement and heroism. So say you are in a corporate setting and your CEO is giving a speech about some employee, maybe a lower level employee, who has not only gotten her degree while working for the company, but has also moved through the ranks to enjoy an upper level management position. Now they have heard a speech that hopefully will inspire them to work hard and also juggle their personal life in order to make the company better and work towards their own personal well-being. Next, we have speeches that set a certain social agenda. You see this more often in government by public officials that will try to move the public into a different direction socially and democratically. So these typically articulate or reinforce a group's goals and values. So that can be a group as big as the entire country or just on a more local level, like a community center or a board or even a corporate organization of some sort. They will revisit the mission statement and just look at the different goals that the group has either for the year or going forward, and they will try to inspire again people to move in the same direction. And there are a few different types of speeches of special occasion speaking. The first type is the speech of introduction. So these are made to prepare the audience for the main speaker. You'll often see these at conferences where there is a keynote speaker or maybe a public official is coming up to speak, so someone from their organization, from their team, will come up and describe the speaker's background and qualifications. So they'll sort of list their accomplishments and their resume and basically tell the audience why they're such a relevant speaker to this topic. They will briefly preview the speaker's topic, and they will invite the audience to welcome the speaker, usually with a round of applause. So if you're ever called on to give a speech of introduction, I would recommend being brief, usually keeping it to, 2 or 3 minutes, because the truth is you're just not the main event at that certain occasion. So you want to go ahead and be respectful of the speaker's time, of the audience's time. Make sure that you're paying enough attention to who your speaker is, what they're speaking about, as well as the audience, of course, and making sure that you introduce that person well in order for them to know exactly who that person is and why they might be a credible guest for that occasion. Up next, we have speeches of acceptance. This type of speech is made when you're receiving an award. So if there's any chance that you might receive an award, whether you're nominated or whether there are whispers that you might win, definitely prepare something in advance. Even if it's only a slight chance that you win, you definitely want to have a few remarks sort of prepared. Again, we want to speak extemporaneously for this type of thing, but you should prepare in advance when at all possible. During the speech, you should express what the award means to you and how much it means to you to be recognized for this honor. You should also express gratitude. Make sure that you're thanking family, friends, co-workers, all of these people who helped you get to where you are receiving that award. Again, you should be brief, usually keep it to 3 to 5 minutes, and again, it's going to depend on what kind of event it is, or if you're the only one receiving the award that night. So if the award is relatively large and a very high honor, then maybe you have a few more minutes to talk. If it's a night where lots and lots of people are winning awards and just giving brief little speeches after each award, then keep it pretty short. You don't want to be one of those obnoxious Oscar winners, right, who goes for way too long and then they have to get played off by that awkward classical music. Up next, the next type we'll look at are speeches of presentation. These are delivered when an award is given, so you're presenting an award with someone else who has won. Within this type of speech, you should communicate the meaning of the award and what its significance is to the crowd. You should explain why the recipient is receiving it. So, for example, if you're in an organization and someone is putting in hours and hours of work each week in order to make this volunteering organization work, and they're really giving back to the community, make sure that you're communicating that to the audience with imagery. Talk about anecdotes, how early that person is there in the morning and how late they stay in the night, in order to work towards this common goal and make our world a better place to live in. The audience should know exactly why that person is receiving this award and why they're so deserving of it. This type of thing, as you probably know, may be given at an award ceremony, a type of banquet, a business meeting even, like in a corporate setting, or some type of retreat. So multiple settings for this one. Always make sure that you're paying attention to audience analysis and the setting, as well as the person who you're giving the award to. Up next, the two we sort of clump together are roasts and toasts. As y'all probably know, roasts are humorous tributes to a person. It's a series of speakers jokingly poking fun at that person. So there will often be a dais of people who are close to the person in the hot seat. There's one person sort of in the spotlight, and y'all know all this either from Comedy Central roasts. If you haven't seen those, go ahead and dive down the YouTube rabbit hole for like Justin Bieber or Rob Lowe. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. But those are super fun. And also that one episode of The Office rocks. I know I have some Office fans in here. Next we have toasts, which are very common. These are brief tributes to a person or an event. These happen in lots and lots of different types of celebratory celebrations, and most often we see them in weddings. So more than likely you will have a best friend, a brother or a sister who's getting married, and if you're the maid of honor or best man, then you will be called on to give a toast at the reception or at the rehearsal dinner or something like that. This is when people have to public speak the most in their lives, typically if they don't have a job that requires it, right? So always be prepared for this type of special occasion speech. Usually you will feel so connected and close to that person that this speech will come easily to you. So make sure that you're honoring them. Make sure that if it's a wedding, you're honoring their now spouse, right? And sort of connecting it together, telling funny or lighthearted, nostalgic stories about you and them and y'all's relationship and why it means so much to their marriage now. Also, both roast and toast call for short celebratory speeches, and that's sort of a running theme, as you can probably tell within special occasion speeches. You want them to be sort of short and sweet in order to not take away from the rest of the event. Our last type of special occasion speech I want to talk about are eulogies. So eulogies are speeches given at a funeral about the deceased. Eulogies both should commemorate and celebrate the person's life and console, be somber and comfort the people, offer condolences to their family and their friends who are attending that service. So within a eulogy, you should try to balance your delivery and your emotions. Let your emotions come through and be animated to a certain extent with your sadness, with your grief. But, of course, we're going to try not to weep throughout the entire eulogy. You should probably practice enough to where your emotions aren't so raw. Of course, that's easier said than done, because once you get into the moment and you start thinking about the person that has passed away, it can get very emotional for you as a speaker and for the crowd, right? So that's just something to consider. In a eulogy, you should always refer to the deceased family, which might also be your family. Mention their grandkids, their spouse, their kids, and their friends and family. Anyone you know, bring them into your stories and make sure that you're using a bit of audience analysis in order to really offer your respects to their family. You should also be positive but realistic about everything from the life they lived to, and the possibility of an afterlife. Use some audience analysis in terms of, what the majority believes happens after you die and stuff like that, but also, stay true to yourself, stay true to the person that has passed away. Okay, everyone, that brings us to the end of our lecture videos for this semester. As you know, our very last required assignment of the semester is the special occasion speech. It's 2 to 4 minutes, it's short, it's fun, and I can't wait to see the person that you plan to pay tribute to and listen to these speeches. Let me know if you have any questions about anything from the special occasion speech to the concepts we focused on in this lecture to the extra credit assignment. I'll see y'all later.